week 3 of the Diddy trial has begun, and the revelations are explosive. Following Kid Cudi's emotional testimony, prosecutors are exposing a growing list of A-list celebrities tied to Diddy's infamous parties and alleged cover-ups. The names? T.D. Jakes, Ben Affleck, Usher, even Robert Downey Jr. But the biggest twist? The feds say Ben Affleck may have played a role in Diddy's downfall.
Affleck actually recently walked away from J-Lo because these allegations were coming out.
And isn't there even some concern that, or proof that Pastor T.D. Jakes?
Well, I'm getting right there. So there's this big list that Diddy said, I'm not going down alone. Because Cat Williams went on a podcast a while back, and Cat Williams, who's a well-known comedian in the black community for a long time, he went on a podcast and basically just regurgitated all this information that was just so valid. And he said, all these people, he said, you got God on one side, and then you got the other side. And he said, the other side, they're all going down in 2024. And he mentioned that he was offered $50 million 4 separate times to join in with these Diddy parties to basically be sodomized. He turned it down every time.
To help his career.
To bring his career to the next level.
You're on a raft.
Yes.
In the middle of the ocean.
Right.
You look in the water.
That would give me so much anxiety. Go ahead.
Oh, this is about to give you more
Okay.
anxiety. You look in the ocean, you see 2 people floating.
Oh,
You can only pull up one because that's how much room you have on your raft. You look in the ocean, you see Ben Affleck, and you see Diddy. That's it!
The full extent of Diddy's celebrity connections is jaw-dropping. U.S. presidents, British royals, top music execs, billionaire CEOs. These weren't casual acquaintances. They were part of the inner circle. And disturbingly, many of the same names keep resurfacing in other elite scandals, from Epstein to Hollywood. Is it really just coincidence?
President Clinton, President Obama, President Trump. I think these are 3 American presidents who really, really, really wish they had no connection to Diddy. But they all do. They all know him, appeared with him, partied with him. Clinton, Obama, Trump, and they're not the only famous people who partied and hung out with Diddy. Apparently there's like at least, 100 plus who are going to be named in his trial. Famous shiny stars. We named some of them last night. We got a new one tonight, Iron Man. But we don't yet know what the connection is. Like, how are all these famous faces and names going to be connected to P. Diddy in his trial? It's the kind of thing they're all freaking out about, right? And there are many unnamed yet who're just finding out about them in jury selection. But I'll tell you what, the internet is freaking out and making its connections. Which shiny star had what connection to Diddy, and how could that end up in the case?
Yeah, there you go. Y'all, thank you. And I just want to say how much I appreciate Puff Daddy for doing the kinds of work that he's doing, because he doesn't have to do this. But this is part of what is important about giving back.
We applaud you, and I want to apologize for not sweating, but I do this so much. I'm so cool. I just want y'all to see everybody I'm interviewing is sweating. I'm not even touching my brow. I'm so cool. And I want to apologize. I ain't trying to make you look bad or nothing like that, but I'm just so cool. We
a t-shirt. I tell you, if he was wearing one of those fancy designer clothes he's designing.
Candidates are being asked about their own connections to or impressions of an array of celebrities. And with no explanation why, at least not yet. Parlor games have begun, my friends. Everybody is trying to connect the dots between the shiny, famous names and the beleaguered rap star Diddy and the charges. Just today, the name Robert Downey Jr. came up in court. Robert Downey, the actor, and Diddy apparently do know each other and have been seen together in public. But Robert Downey Jr. reportedly never attended Diddy's parties. So if he does figure into this trial somehow, it's going to be a lot of news to a lot of us. Mike Myers, another favorite Canadian, favorite actor, favorite comedian. He is on the jury question list as well. And that, too, is a tongue-wagging mystery. Unless it's about the quick jab at Diddy that he took in the Austin Powers movie? I don't know. Doesn't seem likely. Rolling Stone magazine reports that actor Michael B. Jordan made the list because Diddy once threatened him for dating Diddy's ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. Same goes for the rapper Kid Cudi. USA Today says that Cassie's lawsuit claimed that Diddy threatened to blow up Kid Cudi's car.
One of those scrambling to distance himself from Diddy is Bishop T.D. Jakes. Just days after reports surfaced of a secret plea deal for Diddy to flip on his collaborators, Jakes abruptly stepped down from his megachurch. Excuse personal reasons. But with mounting evidence of his regular presence at Diddy's private parties, the public isn't buying it.
People get on my nerves talking about who you should be seen with. I do homeless shelters. I walk in prison ministries. I deal with murders. I deal with prisons. Because they're our children, our sons, and our daughters.
A shock to many in the religious community, Bishop T.D. Jakes has been spiritual advisor to presidents and a religious voice to thousands. Now he says it's time to pass the baton to a new generation. From the pulpit Sunday, Bishop T.D. Jakes announced that he was stepping down from leadership at the Potter's House.
Nearly a year ago, comedian Cat Williams sounded the alarm, accusing T.D. Jakes of hypocrisy and warning he'd go down with Diddy. That warning is now coming true. T.D. Jakes was first named in Lil Rod's lawsuit, where it's alleged he used his religious influence to sanitize Diddy's image and help him gain access to new victims. The optics are damning.
Cat Williams calls out Bishop T.D. Jakes and watches T.D. Jakes and Gino Jennings' response.
I came in this business saying I was going to expose. When I talked about Michael Jackson, when I talked about R. Kelly, they canceled me for these things because why would you talk about another black dude? Race is not where the line is drawn. It's God's side and the other side. And we don't care nothing about the other side. Period. All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. T.D. Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way.
Good, I'm good. I'm good because I know the truth.
T.D. Jakes, do not speak against homosexual.
World-renowned Dallas pastor T.D. Jakes is named in a federal lawsuit against musician Sean Diddy Combs.
It's filed by a producer that worked with Combs. It discusses how the singer planned to leverage his relationship with the bishop to soften the impact on his public image of Cassie Ventura's lawsuit. Ventura is a former girlfriend of Combs who filed her own lawsuit in November alleging abuse, violence, and
could this federal investigation have come out of these private lawsuits?
Oh, absolutely. If it involves sex trafficking or drugs or weapons or other illegal behavior.
Lori Levinson is a former federal prosecutor.
They've decided this is worth a lot of resources across the country. So once they've done these searches, they have evidence to follow up on. And if they've got it, they'll move on it.
Usher, once Diddy's protege, is now under fire. During her powerful testimony, Cassie revealed that Usher witnessed Diddy abuse her multiple times and stayed silent. Former Danity Kane member Dawn Richard corroborated this, recounting a 2010 incident where she saw Diddy punch Cassie in the stomach at a West Hollywood restaurant.
Richard says she wasn't alone in witnessing Sean Diddy Combs' abuse. During her second day of testimony in the music mogul's federal trial, the 41-year-old described an alleged 2010 incident when Combs punched then-girlfriend Cassie Ventura in a West Hollywood, California restaurant and said Usher was also a witness to the event. During her testimony May 19th per NBC News, which had a reporter in the courtroom, she said, quote, Mr. Combs punched Cassie in the stomach. They were having a private conversation and then he punched her in the stomach. She immediately leaned over and left. In addition to Usher, Richard, who is a member of the girl group Danity Kane, which was formed on Combs' show Making the Band in 2004, alleged that other musicians, including singer Neo, record exec Jimmy Iovine, and rapper Big Daddy Kane were present as well. When Richard and Ventura got into a car to leave after the alleged restaurant incident, Richard said another physical altercation took place between Combs, who has pleaded not guilty to all charges, and his then-girlfriend. She continues in her testimony, quote, "We got in the car to head back to her house. Combs grabbed her, slapped her, popped her in the mouth, and told her to shut the f*** up. Everyone was quiet."
Unlike Usher, Justin Bieber has finally broken his silence. Allegedly abused under Diddy's custody at just 13, Justin was passed around Hollywood's elite. Now, disturbing video evidence is emerging. Days after the trial began, Justin issued a cryptic but powerful statement admitting, "I knew something real was going on behind the scenes."
Justin Bieber breaking his silence on the ordeal after months of speculation over their one-time relationship. His rep telling ET, although Justin is not among Sean Combs' victims, there are individuals who were genuinely harmed by him. Shifting focus away from this reality detracts from the justice these victims rightfully deserve. Bieber's questionable connection to Diddy piquing interest online as the rap mogul's indictment and racketeering charges, which he denies, made headlines. Old clips of the two hanging out while Justin was underage resurfacing.
Okay, let's just go get some girls.
Man after my we hit him like this, so we ain't walking, we hanging out, a little later on the night after the Usher concert.
There's also this old Jimmy Kimmel Live segment, adding to fan fears about what might have gone down with Diddy.
Got me a Lamborghini.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice.
I haven't gotten it yet, though.
When is he coming, that Lamborghini? We talked about this last time.
The Lamborghini for a day or two, and he had access to the house, and he knows better than me talking about the things that he does with Big Brother Puff on national television. Oh, apparently not. Some things, everything ain't for everybody.
This all comes as Bieber's followers are worried for him, the singer's erratic social media posts causing concern week after week, the believers asking if what he's seen behind the scenes of the industry.
Why did Diddy finally get exposed after years of evading justice? Reports say he lost the elite protection he'd long relied on. Insiders claim Diddy crossed his handlers, and the hammer came down just 2 months after his fallout with liquor giant Diageo. His empire collapsed. Coincidence or retaliation?
Here's why Michael B. Jordan, Kanye West, and more celebrities were name-dropped at Sean Diddy Combs' trial. As jury selection in the mogul trafficking trial got underway May 5th in New York, NBC News reports prospective jurors were shown a list of more than 100 names of people and places that may be referenced during the trial, including actors Michael B. Jordan, Mike Myers, and rapper Kanye West. While the aforementioned celebrities are not implicated in the case, the potential jurors were asked whether they knew any of the names listed and whether it would impact their ability to be impartial, per the outlet. Attorneys did not share an explanation for the list. The names of women who have taken legal action against Combs were also on the list, including his ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura, whose November 2023 sexual lawsuit against the rapper was settled 1 day after it was filed. Danity Kane alum Don Richard, who accused Combs of sexual assault in a lawsuit filed in September, was also listed. Combs has denied any wrongdoing in both cases.
Behind closed doors, powerful forces are shaping this trial. Witnesses tied to Diddy are vanishing. Insiders suggest the same. Dark network that once protected him is now pulling strings against him. When Diddy was useful, his enemies disappeared. Now that he's not, he might be next.
Diddy sues Diageo. Diddy filed a lawsuit accusing Diageo of neglecting the De Leon brand, racial discrimination, claiming they marketed it as an urban product and failed to treat him as a true business partner. Then in January 2024, they settled out of court. Diageo and Diego settled the dispute out of court. While details still remain sealed, the settlement marked the end of their business relationship. So this is from 2007 till 2024. 17 years. Could they have protected him? I don't know. Their CEO currently today is Deborah Ann Crew. She was a former intelligence officer in the military. Once intelligence officer, forever you're an intelligence officer. Who knows what happened? We don't know the relationship. We're not going to make any accusations. All we know is, could this have been a protection where they were at the parties and they knew things that were taking place and are like, wait, what do you want to do to us? No problem. Boom, drop the bomb. I don't know. All I'm saying is the timing it's kind of strange. Maybe even they wanted to kind of be like, look, we know what's about to be dropped on this guy. We want to have nothing to do with you. We're out. Here's some money. You stay quiet. We'll pay you, but we want to get out of here. The only thing at the time is kind of crazy is January 2024, they settle. 2 months later, remember what we're sitting there doing, minding our own business, and you hear March of 2024, the feds are raiding Diddy's Miami home and his LA home. For what?
Jamie Foxx dropped a bombshell, claiming Diddy poisoned him. On a recent Joe Rogan Experience, Joe discussed these allegations and the toxic underbelly of the entertainment world. If true, it's proof this industry is far darker than most could ever imagine.
Well, Pierce, let me ask you a question. From your journalistic perspective, have you ever noticed how in this industry, people untimely meet their demise soon as somebody else seems like they're having a problem? Have you ever seen that before?
Well, there was, of course, the case of one of his other ex-girlfriends, Kim Porter, who died of pneumonia at a very young age. You just referenced your own situation with pneumonia that you believe was deliberate poisoning. Do you believe that may be what happened to her?
Why are so many people coming down with pneumonia? Why is that happening to everybody? What is that about? Where have you ever seen this many cases of pneumonia associated with one situation? So, you know.
There were rumors.
I'm not saying.
Well, I was going to mention on this that there have been rumors circulating online that Diddy may have poisoned Jamie Foxx, which caused his 2023 hospitalization. In his Netflix show, he compared Combs to the devil in revealing his near-death experience after a brain bleed and stroke. He said, I say this all the time, I saw the tunnel, I didn't see the light. It was hot in that tunnel. I thought, have I gone to the wrong place? I looked up at the end of the tunnel, and I thought I saw the devil saying, come on. Or was that Puffy? I'm effing around, but if that was Puffy at a flaming bottle of Johnson.
Diddy has rejected a plea deal that could have shortened his sentence in exchange for naming names. The charges? Sex trafficking, racketeering, drug crimes, forced prostitution. If convicted, he's facing decades. But insiders warn, if he falls, he won't fall alone. Jay-Z, T.D. Jakes, Usher, even Clive Davis may be on the seized tapes from Diddy's Miami mansion.
Diddy, why can't we get anything concrete? All we really have is the hotel hallway beat ass.
That one is in the process. But hold on, he's in jail. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of lawsuits. That one is like, we're gonna find out. Jamie Foxx just recently said that P. Diddy poisoned him, and that's why he got that stroke.
I've heard that.
I talked about it on stage.
He said it?
He said it.
He got poisoned?
He said it.
He goes, I didn't have a heart attack because of the vaccine. It was Diddy shutting me up.
See if we can find that, because he said it on stage.
Whoa. He was poisoned?
Bro, whoa. I think there was some crazy shit going on.
Like Cosby shit? Like drugging?
Diddy wasn't even that big.
I think it was more. There's alleged murder. There's a bunch of people that got pneumonia. A bunch of convenient people that died of pneumonia. Jamie Foxx addresses whether Diddy was responsible for his 2023 hospitalization while filming Netflix special. Holy shit.
Jamie,
he talks about it on his Netflix special.
Do they not care about at all stand-up? Jamie Foxx is hilarious.
Audience members, hold on, go back.
I see him at clubs all the time. Working out his bib.
What is that share slide? Here it goes. Look at this. The audience members had varying accounts of the comedian's words. Two of them claimed that Foxx said Diddy was responsible for what happened to him, that he's the one who called the FBI on Diddy, who's currently in prison awaiting trial.
Dawn Richard didn't hold back on the stand. She testified that Diddy sexually abused her and described in graphic detail how he beat Cassie in front of her. One attack allegedly took place at a Central Park concert, where Diddy punched Cassie in the face with a closed fist. The courtroom was stunned.
Last hearing before Sean Combs' trial starts, when he walked into federal court today, he appeared to be looking for his family. They've pretty much been at all of the hearings that I've been to, but there was no presence of his sons or his mother or his sister who had previously been at those hearings. So here's what came out of today's hearing. Number one, the government acknowledged that they offered Combs a plea deal. Combs acknowledged he has no interest in taking that. They're going to move forward with the trial. They also talked about the jury selection process, which one legal expert I spoke to said is probably the most important thing that you want to pay close attention to before the actual trial starts. And thirdly, we learned that Combs will be adding 2 new attorneys to his defense team. And just to recap, Combs, who is 55 years old, could spend the rest of his life behind bars, is convicted on and racketeering. He has pleaded not guilty to all charges.
Major developments tonight involving the case against Sean Diddy Combs, what he decided in court today, and what this now means, the move coming just 4 days before his trial is set to begin. Here's Aaron Katursky.
Tonight, Sean Combs makes it official. He's rejecting the government's offer to plead guilty and spare himself the possibility of a prolonged term in prison. When asked if he turned down the offer, Combs answered, "Yes, I do, Your Honor," as he stood in a baggy beige jail uniform. Terms were not disclosed, but prosecutors did say a plea could result in a shorter sentence for Combs than if he's convicted. The decision guarantees Combs will face trial beginning just 4 days from now that will test whether one of music's most prolific figures used his power, wealth, and fame to sexually exploit both women and men for decades. Combs has pleaded not guilty to racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution charges that accused him of coercing alleged victims into prolonged drug-fueled sexual activity that he called freak-offs and threatening them.
Gene Deal has backed up these stories. He says Diddy groomed Cassie from the moment they met, when she was just 19. He controlled every part of her life, her food, clothes, career, even her family. If she disobeyed, she was abused, fired, evicted, total control.
Joined Combs' group Diddy Dirty Money after Danity Kane disbanded. While on the stand, she told jurors that she saw Combs hit Ventura with a skillet full of eggs at his Los Angeles home in 2009. Richard testified per NBC News. He came downstairs asking where his phone was, and he threw her to the ground. He attempted to kick her. She fell to the ground and went into the fetal position, literally trying to hide her head. In addition to striking Ventura with the skillet, Richard said Combs put his arm around the singer's neck and took her upstairs before she heard glass breaking. Richard added, "I was scared for her. I was scared to do anything." Richard's testimony in Combs' ongoing trial comes 8 months after she accused the rapper in a lawsuit of subjecting her to years of inhumane working conditions, which included groping, assault, and false imprisonment. The lawsuit, filed in September, obtained by E! News, stated, "Mr. Combs frequently held meetings with Ms. Richard wearing only his underwear, despite Ms. Richard's protests and repeated requests for him to put on clothing." In her filing, the 41-year-old also alleged that Combs ordered her to strip down to her underwear, made demeaning remarks about her body, and entered her dressing room unannounced while she was unclothed, and touched her without her permission under the guise of showing the stylist.
Anyone who tried to help Cassie faced consequences. Victim number 3, a woman named Gina, was set to testify next. Now, she's vanished. No one has heard from her in days. Another silence. Another name gone.
You don't think that dude groomed that young girl? Took that impressionable young girl who wanted to be a star, who wanted all her dreams that she had to come true, and fed her drugs, fed her pills, fed her alcohol, and fed her mushrooms and things that she never took before to F her mind up, and then put her in a position that she thought that what little that she had, that she didn't want to lose it. If you didn't think that he did something and did that to her, bruh, I gotta say something wrong with you.
These allegations paint a horrifying portrait of Hollywood's hidden world. A world where fame hides abuse, and victims are silenced when they're no longer useful. It's not just about Diddy anymore. It's about an entire system that protects predators in plain sight.
Whenever these trials come about, the closer you get to the trial date, a lot of things start happening to remove people from the case that are going to strengthen the case for the prosecution. And I feel like we're watching that take place now with one of the male sex worker guys who provided tapes to the feds. He's disappeared. This is similar to what happened in the Tory Lanez case, where the bodyguard whose DNA was on the weapon, he disappeared. So I expect to see a lot of strange things take place. I expect to see the defense team do a lot of steps to lighten the image of Combs. We've been watching that take place.
From what you know about him, Sean Combs, obviously the perception of him has changed dramatically since these allegations were made and since he got charged. I mean, from everything we're seeing now, he seems a very pleasant, nasty, violent piece of work. Is that a correct assessment?
The assessment is going to be correct. So what I've learned is whenever you see a gentleman like this from affluence and power, whenever they have an addiction to MDMA or the drug ecstasy, they call it the love drug. So he's been doing this drug for over 20 years. So that's going to leave his view skewed when it comes to sexual activity. I believe it's helped turn him into a sexual deviant.
Week by week, this trial is ripping the mask off Hollywood's elite. From megachurch pastors to billion-dollar CEOs, no one is safe. Is this the beginning of a true reckoning, or just another high-profile scapegoat? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Like this video, subscribe, and hit the bell. Because what's coming next will change everything.
Now, here's Fox. Go ahead, Rob.
What jurors heard today were tales of appalling physical abuse by Sean Combs as prosecutors portrayed him as a monster who controlled people and plied them with drugs, threats, money, brandishing guns during these on-camera sexual performances that he liked to call freak-offs. And in fact, jurors were shown for the first time today that horrifying videotape. Combs brutally beating, kicking, and dragging his then-girlfriend. And then a male escort took the witness stand, and he talked about how he saw firsthand that same young woman repeatedly battered by the defendant, who then tried to bribe a hotel security guard with a stack of cash to get rid of the evidence. In opening statements, what struck me was how the defense attorney openly admitted that her client committed domestic violence, but then tried to argue, well, that's not sex trafficking for which he's charged. Technically, yes, but it is an underlying crime in the racketeering case against him, which includes kidnapping, arson, sex crimes, bribery, obstruction, all part of this alleged criminal enterprise run by Sean Combs. His attorney also admitted to the jury that client's conduct is quote-unquote indefensible and that he may be a sexual deviant, but that doesn't make him a criminal, which strikes me as not a terribly great defense. Or to be arguing, and they said this to the jury, that the alleged female victims, and there are a lot of them, are all motivated to lie out of greed because they filed lawsuits against Combs for money damages. Well, that is a typical defense tactic, but it is dangerous, it is perilous. Jurors might perceive it as the lawyers re-victimizing the victims. Katie?